What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome back to the Dapper Snapper Gaming channel, and welcome back to How Do I Want to Do This? This is our series where we take a look at all playable options available to players in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, and then we rank them on a scale of 1 to 10, and then either fix them or build them together depending on how they rank. Now today, we are still on our first week of talking about cleric subclasses, and we are already having to fix one. So today we are going to give a little bit of TLC to the Arcana Domain Cleric, and so if you're ready to see just how strong this can be, go ahead and leave a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. As you can see, most people who watch this channel are not subscribed, so please don't be one of those people. Help us to grow. We're trying to get to 1,000 by the end of this year, and I think that that's very much doable. We're very close to 700 right now, so at the current rate, we will definitely get there, so please help us to do that. And of course, share the video with your friends and ring the bell so that you're notified whenever new videos are uploaded. So the Arcana Domain Cleric is a really cool concept, but in practice, it's pretty underwhelming. I described it as situational. If you haven't seen my ranking video, it will be up in the iCard right there for you. Definitely watch that before you watch this, because otherwise this video is not going to make a whole lot of sense. But the Arcana Domain is very situational in what it can do, and a lot of the features are just kind of limiting in what they can do. And so I wanted to really expand this and slightly tweak the lore behind the Arcana Domain Cleric, but honestly, I think it all fits really, really well here. So this is going to be a take on the cleric that's kind of an anti-mage while also being a spellcaster yourself. And it is that you are learning so much about spellcasting that you learn not only how to cast really cool spells yourself, but you also know how to shut down other people casting spells as well because of your intricate knowledge of the arcane. That's kind of the idea that I've gone with here, and I think this is really, really cool. This is basically the Wizard of Clerics, which I think is what this was kind of marketed as, seeing how you gain some wizard stuff. Well, I've doubled down on that and added some really, really cool features that I think you will really enjoy. Do I think that this makes it a 10 out of 10? No, but I do think that this puts it in a much better place, and I think that it's going to be a lot of fun to play. So let's go ahead and jump right in. At level 1, we get two things. We first get our domain spells, which have now changed. At least most of them have. We keep Detect Magic and Magic Missile. However, we now get Arcane Lock, keep Magic Weapon, and then now we're getting Counterspell at 5th level. Counterspell is the ultimate anti-mage spell, and so yes, it's very powerful, but I don't think that we can go without it, and I think that it is an absolutely amazing introduction to this kit. It makes this kit very strong, and so I really, really like it, and definitely one to consider using. Arcane Eye and Lehman's Secret Chest, and then at 9th level I changed both of them to Dispel Evil and Good and Legend Lore. Are those necessarily better spells? It depends on who you ask. Legend Lore is situational. I fully acknowledge that, and Dispel Evil and Good can come up just depending on what happens, but I do think that these are a little bit more on brand with what we are doing, and Dispel Evil and Good kind of replaces what we did with our Channel Divinity before. So spoiler alert, our Channel Divinity has completely changed, so we got Dispel Evil and Good instead, which is similar to what we had before. So that's kind of my replacement. If you want to still have that flavor, it's there if you want to use it. If you don't, oh well, no big deal. It doesn't take up one of your prepared slots. At level 1, we get our Arcane Initiate feature, and this has not changed all that much. The only thing that has changed is now, instead of proficiency with Arcana, we now have expertise. That's the only difference. We still get the 2 wizard cantrips, and yeah, that's it. So I didn't think that that needed too much tweaking. I thought that that was pretty good just as it was. Then we get to the Channel Divinity, and I completely scrapped the original and have made a brand new one, and this is called Arcane Discovery. So what this does is whenever you present your holy symbol for your Channel Divinity, you can use it to cast a spell of 1st through 5th level. Now keep in mind that the level of the spell has to be appropriate with spells that you know in reference to your cleric level. So if you are a 3rd level cleric, and let's say you've multi-classed and now you have 3rd level spell slots, it doesn't matter. You still need to be a 5th level cleric in order to grab Fireball, for instance. So you do have to be of the appropriate level of Cleric in order to cast a spell of whatever level it is you're wanting to cast. And there are some other restrictions that I've placed on this as well, because obviously this is a very strong feature. So the other thing is, one, if there are costly components, you still need to provide those, so no free revivifies. You still need to go get your diamonds and things. And you also have to have a casting time of 1 action, and there can be no rituals. The big thing is that I don't want you to just have free Find Familiar every day. You definitely need to go get that through other means, because that's really strong. So no rituals being able to be used here. And you cannot modify the casting time. So I gave the example of Sorcerer's Quickened Spell. There are other features that allow you to do things like this in order to change the casting time of things. You cannot modify the casting time with any other feature, so it has to be of an action. So I think that these restrictions are really good. I think that it's necessary in order to make this not super overpowered, because otherwise this could get a little out of hand, and I don't want that. So I think this is a really good feature, though. I think it's worth using your Channel Divinity for, because it gives you a lot of really, really good versatility, and it's very much on theme with what you have. It's basically your 17th level feature light, because you don't learn these spells forever. You just get to use it this one time, but it doesn't like go on your spell list or anything. So I think it's really cool. But again, if you think it's too OP, let me know in the comments. At 6th level, we get Spellbreaker, and I have kept part of it and then changed a lot of it. So at 6th level, we now get 2 features built into this. You can now use your magic to thwart the magic of others. So whenever you cast a cleric cantrip that requires an attack roll, you can now increase the DC on their concentration check by a number equal to your proficiency bonus. Now, I don't think that this is super OP, because I've limited it just to your cantrips. Now, yes, you can pick up cantrips from the wizard spell list here, things such as Firebolt, and you know, Firebolt did just get bumped here last level at 5th level. And the thing about cantrips is, typically, you know, if it's a decent spellcaster with at least an okay constitution and they're not rolling terribly, they're gonna make their save most of the time against a cantrip. This gives you a little bit of a higher chance in order to successfully knock whatever spell it is out of their hands. Is it going to happen all the time? Absolutely not, but it's worth a shot, right? And you can use this feature as many times as you want until you get a success. So this is the kind of thing that I wanted to build into this. There are some other subclasses that we haven't covered on the channel just yet that are newer, that that allow you to use a feature as many times as you want and don't expend a resource until you actually succeed. And I wanted to do that here. So not use the feature unsuccessfully however many times. You can do this a number of times, and at least once per long rest. The other part of this is a very strong part of this, and so the reason I linked these together is because they're very similar in how they work, and it just depends on how you want to go about it. Do you want to attack the caster, or do you want to heal your friend? Either way, this does effectively the same thing, but they just function a little bit differently for the purposes of balance. So whenever you cast a 1st level spell or higher that heals, you can end a particular spell on the target. So you go to heal your barbarian that's caught in the hypnotic pattern. So you cast a 1st level Cure Wounds. Normally that wouldn't work, and so you've got to cast up at 3rd level in order to do that. The problem I have with this is that you straight up just don't get a chance to win that encounter, and I think that with you being so studied in this, that you should have a chance to at least try to knock that spell out of their hands. And so we're adding counterspell mechanics, sort of, to this. And by sort of, I mean a lot. So basically, if the spell is a higher level of the healing spell that you cast, you now can make an ability check using your wisdom mod, and the DC is 10 plus the spell's level. And on a success, the spell effect is ended. This falls under the same note of, once you do this successfully, once per long rest, then you have to rest again. The reason I wanted to put this restriction on there really is because there's a fine balance to be struck here of you feeling powerful versus your DM's spellcasters feeling useless. You don't want your DM to never want to bring spellcasters against you, because that is too powerful. Because if you have this and you can do this however many times per rest, you can just shut down, essentially you can shut down anything that your dungeon master wants to do anytime you want. And so that's unfortunate. You already get counterspell, and so I don't want this feature plus counterspell to get out of hand with how many uses you would get. So yeah, this is a hard once per long rest type thing. And of course, like with the cantrip one, if you want to add that to the DC, you can. You don't have to. You can if you want to. So that's really, really cool as well. The 8th and 17th level features I did not change. I didn't think that those needed anything extra, especially since the 8th level feature is pretty universal across all clerics. So there's not a whole lot of reason to change it. And then Arcane Mastery is already super busted, so I didn't think I needed to change it at all. So that is what I have changed. I know it's a short video, but I think it's really good. I think that this makes some meaningful changes. And so if you think so, let me know in the comments. If you don't think so, let me know. Of course, this has not been play tested, so I'd love to hear your feedback. Until next week, when we talk about the Death Domain Cleric and see just where it ranks, I will see you all later. Stay safe out there. Stay healthy. We'll see y'all next week. Bye-bye.